if I was the
100%.
if I was the opposite of the state I was in currently, yes, I would have done
it's
that.
like good Ian and evil Ian cross paths that night. Ooh, damn, they said that?
Yeah.
That's so real of them. That's so real for them.
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
I don't know, dude.
Let me go ahead and set my everybody's expectations real low.
Real low, dude.
And then I'll rapidly surpass those expectations. And look good.
Wow, he had a glow up real quick. Oh, they were vertically stacked?
Yeah.
That's kind of tight.
Right?
Good weekend?
It's a good weekend, man.
Nice.
Kind of just back to basics and got some extra sleep because I knew that daylight savings time was going to slap me around. So I was just like, okay, self-discipline, go to bed early.
Yeah.
Wake up early.
I was not prepared at all. I woke up at like 1 p.m. and I was like, wait, is it daylight savings today? I was like, are we going forward or backward? Did we lose an hour or did we gain an hour? I like every year I do the exact same. Twice a year I do the exact. I'm just like, what? I'm so like disoriented. Like, what time is it?
Luckily, all your digital internet connected devices automatically update the time.
Right.
If you relied on a classic wristwatch, you'd be screwed.
Exactly. And thank God the time changes automatically. Or thank God it changes at midnight and not like at noon. Otherwise, for 2 days out of the year, my schedule would be completely anything. I'd be either late or super early to anything I had planned on those days.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean,
I can't get it together.
It's better to be super early than super late. But
True. What's something that you were like super late for, or something that you just like missed? Like we've already covered like flights and stuff, but people were waiting on you, or like it was a big like a job interview.
Oh yeah, okay, so. I got this. It was my first day. I had gotten promoted to key carrier at my retail job.
Yeah.
It was my first day opening the store. And I was like, antsy. I was anticipating. I was like, I want to make sure I get everything on point.
Of course.
And back in these days, I had a clamshell phone.
Okay.
Flip phone.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I used it as my alarm clock.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why, I was just like, I'm trying to make sure everything is as good as it can be. I left it open instead of closed like I normally do.
Wait, left what open? Sorry.
The phone.
Oh, the phone.
So instead of being clamshelled shut like it usually was.
It was wide open.
It was open, and I had never done that before.
Okay.
But I was like, this is for some reason I was like, this is a special thing. I want to make sure like I don't have to open my phone. Like there's one step. I was trying to make sure everything was ready to go.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Right?
You're like over preparing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it turns out that with that particular phone, since I had it in the open position,
right,
when the alarm went off,
the
alarm went off at like next to nothing volume.
Somehow being open changed the volume.
Changed the function of the alarm clock.
Right.
Yeah. So first day, like I was excited. I got promoted. I had more responsibility, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I had written my alarm code and put it on a piece of paper on my desk. I had my phone. My alarm was set. Everything was ready to go. I wake up and I can hear the alarm, but it's super, super quiet.
Yeah.
And I look at my watch and I'm like, oh my God.
Absolute panic. Sheer panic.
Huge adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so late. And I burst out of bed and just threw on some clothes, grabbed my phone, hit the road, just hauling ass down the freeway.
How late were you?
I was probably...
Was it crazy late?
I was supposed to get there at, I want to say, 8:30.
Yeah.
And I got there at like 9:15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, and
that is
so
pretty rough.
I was getting off the freeway. I was getting off the off ramp, and I realized I didn't have the piece of paper with me that had my alarm code on it.
You left it at home?
Yeah.
No.
So
It keeps getting worse.
fortunately, at the time I lived with my parents, I called
Right.
my dad
Yeah.
because he's an early riser.
Okay.
And I was like, "Hey, real quick, there's a piece of paper on my desk with a 4-digit code on it.
Sure.
Can you please read that to me?" And I got him to give me the code over the phone.
Thank God for dads.
But I got in, and there were, of course, there were people like waiting, tapping their foot and looking peeved.
That's terrible, dude.
And then my coworker, standing there just looking nonplussed. I was like, "Oh, everything went wrong. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys."
So your coworker was locked out too, just
yeah, because I was the one who was supposed to unlock and get everything ready.
Oh my God!
And I just ran in there real quick, turned off the alarm, got the cash registers opened up, and
Unreal.
just was like, "Come on in, guys. I'm so sorry about that." And it was all because of my gold plating, like trying to super optimize everything and going, if I leave my phone open, that's better, right? For whatever non-logical reason I'd come up with.
It'll save me a fraction of a second.
It's a special occasion.
One less thing I got to worry about. And it's like that. That's a classic case of irony. Like the one thing you were trying to avoid so hard was by doing that actually
I incurred
backfired completely.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's pretty cool. But so what was your boss like? Well, your boss was fine with it. It was just like
they were just like, "Well, that's not great, but it
happens.
It happens. Like they didn't make a big deal out of it. And it wasn't something that I made a habit of.
Right. I would hope not.
So
that's probably what they were thinking too. Like, all right, is this just a crazy freak accident, or is this going to be an issue with this guy? Is this guy going to be a problem?
Right.
And obviously after that it was smooth sailing and whatever. But
right. But that was a rough start.
Rocky start, dude.
Yeah. And then
yeah, man.
There was another time I was supposed to help out covering a shift at another location up in like West Covina.
Okay.
And so I head out, and I'm used to the 57 freeway. Like,
sure,
it's my favorite freeway. I know that freeway.
Your favorite? You have a favorite LA freeway? That's insane.
The 57, yeah, that's my fave.
It's your favorite. I've never even thought about having a favorite LA freeway. I hate them all.
We've been.
I have least favorites.
They're all least favorites, pretty much, except for that one. For some reason,
have a beloved.
I'm comfy with it. I know it backwards and forwards, and
sure.
And so I head out, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is I had a reasonable, time for driving.
Yeah.
And that particular day, a fuel tanker truck blew up and caught fire on the northbound 57.
Yeah. Nice.
So I got on the road, and then I got on the freeway, and then it was just stopped traffic.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, this is bad. And then I looked at Google Maps, and I looked at the true scope of how bad it was, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
So I ended up being, I think I was about 2 hours late.
Right. That's crazy.
And the person who was working there was pissed.
Yeah.
And
was it a manager or just a coworker?
It was like they were about my level.
Okay.
But they were super pissed.
Yeah.
And
like how pissed? Like did they yell at you or something?
No, they just were just like
cold show, like
kind of cold,
bitchy to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super bitchy. 2 hours.
I think that was the first time we met, and we actually ended up being
nice.
Fine, good friends after that. But
yeah.
I was, and then my boss's boss called me and they were like, "Hey, so you were supposed to help out at this store, but you were over 2 hours late." And I was like, "Yeah, really unavoidable when the freeway that you use to get there is shut down because there's a tanker truck full of gasoline
On fire.
burning
Yeah.
on the freeway."
Yeah.
And of course, I got off the freeway and I took side streets to get there.
But still.
Of course. And they're like, "Oh, okay."
You're like, don't worry. Like next time, I'll just leave my car parked in the middle of the freeway,
And I'll just
I'll just run as fast as I can so that I can help you stock shelves.
Yeah.
I'll never make that same mistake. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Like,
And
what the are you supposed to do?
It was quite the day. And then that same day, I was coming back and I wanted to try to stay off the 57 as much as possible. So I was taking side streets again. And so I'm coming up this kind of 2-lane dark mountain road in the hills up there. And there's this minivan just stopped in my lane with its emergency flashers on. And so it's ruining traffic. Like people are honking and then they're waiting until the left side opposing lane is clear and then just passing angrily. So I was like, this is weird. So I once I passed, I drove like another 100 feet down the road and parked on the side of the road. And I walked back and it was this lady who was like, she didn't speak the greatest English, but basically I was able to figure out like something's wrong, and she didn't really know what to do, like except stop safely, but she's in the road. So I was like, well, I can help you get out of the road, and get off the side so you're not blocking traffic, and that makes it safer for everybody. And she was like, okay, yeah. And so I hopped in the driver's seat, and she had like a couple kids in the back of the minivan,
Of course.
and they were all bouncing around, excited, like crazy shit is happening. I'm a kid,
Right.
Nothing like this has happened before.
Yeah, right. They're just along for the ride, dude. It's a roller coaster.
I just was like, put your seatbelt on.
Hey, mijos, buckle up, me. Yeah, that's so funny.
And I just popped it in. It was like the engine. Something was wrong with the engine, and so I was able to put it in neutral, and the power steering was gone, so I had to like really crank the wheel. But I was able to once traffic made way, I was able to back it up onto the side of the road, and put it in park, put the safety the parking brake on.
Pushing the car.
She was in fact Asian.
Oh, she was Asian. Sorry.
Because we're up in like Diamond Bar area.
It would have been really funny if you made all the kids get out and push.
Hell no, dude, that's so dangerous, so dangerous. So once I got her car off the side of the road, I was just like, okay, so you got a cell phone, you got somebody who you can call, who can help you. You're good. All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, my job here is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt a deep sense of satisfaction from that.
That's really cool. Like you kind of, it's like a hero moment.
Yeah, I felt really good about that.
Felt very validated. And
it's like not a big thing, but I felt good to.
You made her. You saved their day. You saved her day. I mean,
especially made it less shitty. Probably.
I mean, her day was already shitty. She had kids in the back, dude. She was traveling with kids.
That's a shitty.
Her day already sucked.
That's a shitty day.
Anything on top of that is just extra credit.
Yeah.
And then you alleviated some of that pain, so that's nice.
Speaking of pushing cars, the first time I ever got in an accident, I was driving home on the 57. I got some history with that freeway.
Clearly.
And I don't know why. Like looking back, I can't think of a reason why I was so tired. Maybe I just had low blood sugar or something, but I was in stop and go traffic, and I was so tired, like my eyes would close for a couple of seconds.
That's scary, right?
Yeah, I was taking micro naps.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
So dangerous.
this is cool. I got this. And then like I closed my eyes, and then like it was more than 2 or 3 seconds, and then
Ooh.
bam, like
Ooh.
low speed, but I hit the back of a pickup truck.
Oh man.
And
Freeway? You were on the freeway, right? 57. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank God there was traffic. Thank God it wasn't like you were going 60.
It was, yeah, the traffic was pretty slow, and of course my car was totally borked. Their car was completely untouched.
Yeah. The front is the crumple zone.
Yeah.
I think that's
so
correct.
But I took it upon myself to, because I had no experience. I had not like learned what the proper thing to do was in that situation. I got once there was some room, I got my car in neutral, and I just opened the driver's side door and got out and just started pushing it.
Yeah.
And then once I saw a gap because there was one lane over to the right, and then that was the side of the freeway.
Yeah.
So I managed to actually get over into that lane and then onto the side of the freeway, pushing it and steering it.
That's so scary.
It was incredibly dangerous.
That's so scary.
It was very scary.
Damn.
Yeah, I would not recommend that. That is not a safe thing to do at all. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to be that a-hole who's just blocking traffic because they're sitting in a lane letting everyone go around them.
Right.
But my life is worth a lot more than the embarrassment of being an inconvenience to a bunch of people.
For sure. Dude, I was this is kind of a combination story of like being in a shitty traffic situation and also like on the freeway kind of, and also like being late to something. I was on the way to Mel's place. We were going to catch a flight to Taiwan. In big international flights. It's like, it's travel day. It's a big day. So I'm like driving to her place across LA, and I'm driving in my parents' hand-me-down 2000 Ford Explorer. With the broken gas gauge.
That one. I like that one.
And the gauge just, it's saying like, yeah, you got a quarter tank. I did not have a quarter tank. I just ran out of gas.
How many times did you run out of gas in that?
Probably at least 2.
Okay.
I would say 2, maybe a third, but definitely at least 2. Because you filled me up on one of them.
Yeah.
I had you come down and fill me up on the other one. Thankfully, that was down the street. This was not. This was in the middle of LA. It was on La Cienega, which is basically a freeway.
Yeah.
Parts of La Cienega are just people are going 60, 70, and it breaks down right on a bend after a bend. So people have a very last minute look at me right before they realize they have to brake or like switch lanes. So I'm in a very dangerous spot.
Were you in a lane or did you pull off?
I was only, there was only lanes. So that's why it's like, it's worse when it's like a really big street because there's no shoulder.
There's no shoulder.
But people are still going freeway speeds.
Last minute visibility because they're coming around a curve.
So I'm all the way in the right side, and I'm in this truck, and like I'm just sitting in the truck. I called AAA already, but cars are they're having to slam their brakes and go around me.
You got some screeches.
I got some screeches. No screeches, fortunately, but definitely like close to screeches.
Yeah.
And like I'm looking in the rearview. I'm just looking in my rearview mirror, seeing these cars get. Obviously everything looks closer in the rearview mirror, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, if I get slammed into at like 60 miles an hour, like my head might just roll off. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just a sitting duck, and I'm getting really nervous.
But you stayed in your car.
No, I eventually got out because like just seeing everyone brake, and I was getting honked at too. I'm like, dude, I can't do anything right now.
I have my flashy lights on.
Yeah,
don't honk at me.
Hazards are on and everything, and so I was like, it was freaking me out. So I just got out of the car and I just stood on the side. It was just like brush and dirt and bushes. Right?
There was a barrier?
There was no barrier.
Okay, so you just got out and you stood off to the side of your car?
Off to the side of my car, just in case someone slammed into it, I wouldn't get completely eviscerated. And I wait for AAA, and it takes them forever. And then, like, the GPS, like, their GPS got fucked up. They were in the residential neighborhood on top of the hill that was above the freeway. And I'm like, and I couldn't get to, like, you can't contact the driver directly. So it's, like, a huge pain in the ass. Finally, he comes, and it's fine. And, like, we barely make the flight. But,
made the flight.
I made the flight because I left really early.
Okay.
I left like hours and hours early, but it was still like if I had left much later, it would have been we probably would have missed it.
Yeah.
But speaking of first days at work or messing up on the job early on, My first day at Newegg, I was hungover. Like, like one of the worst hangovers. Where I was, like, throwing up.
Really?
In the company bathroom.
Why? Because
the night before, like, me and Mike and Aaron and Jeff, we were all just raging because we were just like celebrating that I finally got a job. It was like over a year after graduating college, of just a year of constant applications and just getting rejected over and over. And finally, I was like, all right, this is like the last hurrah before, I join the workforce and, can't party on a Wednesday anymore. And we just got so obliterated. Like, we were just at my place just playing beer pong till like 3 a.m. and I would just wake up so dead, and I have to like, you have to just go through the motions.
What time did you have to get into the office?
Like 8:30.
Oh.
I think 8:30 was starting time. So yeah, it was rough, dude. It was really rough. And I know I looked like shit. I was just like, dude,
smelling like a distillery.
I was like, at least this is the first day, so most people just think this is how I always look.
So you're just like, let me go ahead and set my everybody's expectations real low,
dude.
And then I'll rapidly surpass those expectations and look good.
Wow, he had a glow up real quick. So I'm just like, it's like 9, not even within an hour of being there. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna throw up. So I was I was in the bathroom like, they probably were like, man, he's got like an overactive bladder or something. I was in the bathroom all day. And I would have to wait until no one else was in the bathroom. It was like a small bathroom. The men's bathroom maybe
you don't want to have your coworkers hear you yakking.
Exactly. I think it had like maybe 1 or 2 urinals and I think 1 or 2 stalls. And anytime I'd be I was just on my knees in like business casual clothing or business clothing, and just anytime I'd hear the door open, I'd be like just freeze. Just hold. I just freeze like a cat. And then the second they leave.
So what if? How many people I wonder like saw under the stall door and they're like, this guy is just hugging the toilet.
Yeah, right. I did make sure to like wait for the last person to like. I didn't want to leave right after anybody else, so they could just like catch me coming out. Like, oh, so that's the mother effer who's in there. Report him to his boss.
So you first day on work, and I'm sure they're trying to do like orientation and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just like
I'm absorbing
mad
nothing.
hungover.
I'm absorbing nothing, dude. I'm just trying not to puke the whole time talking to my boss and stuff. Fortunately,
were you on time though?
I was on time.
Okay.
I was on time. So I got that, Fortunately, nothing really bad happened, known, like publicly.
Yeah.
It was all just behind closed doors, literally. But it was painful. It was painful.
I don't know that I've ever done something like I don't think I've ever had a disastrous first day.
Yeah.
But I've definitely come to work hungover. I remember specifically coming to work hungover on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was just dead. And nothing was happening. And I was sitting there with my head on the desk basically. And eventually I was like, something's happening. I ran to the back. Found out that I had eaten an avocado burger last night.
Oh no! Yeah, you found that out.
Because I was missing some chunks of time from last night. That was the time that I
like. What the hell is that?
Okay, so off track a little bit, but relevant.
Yeah,
relevant to this. At one point I've worked on pyrotechnics shows before, so I was like, I'm going to be an amateur pyrotechnician. And I bought a bunch of the California Safe and Sane like fireworks, which are basically just sparkler showers.
Okay.
But I took a bunch of those and I opened them and I took all the contents and I put it into one big like mega cylinder.
Sure.
And took a bunch of the fuses and tied them together to make an extra long fuse.
Yeah.
And I had that for at least 6 months. I was going to set it off on the 4th of July. And everyone was like, no, that looks scary. And I was like, all right, whatever. And then it was just, I had it in my car for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And then that night, I don't remember any of this, but that night I decided that was the time. It was because of White Russians, a lot of White Russians.
Was this at Mike's?
Yeah.
Oh, this is that story. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took that, and I guess I was like, today's the day I'm gonna set this thing off. And so I took it out to the median because it was like a road with a grassy median, and I put it in there and lit it. And I don't know. I don't think it actually like started going until I was back upstairs. And I was so pissed off. Nobody took a video of it or anything. I don't have any memory of it.
Damn.
But apparently it was quite glorious and was just going ham.
Going nuts in the middle of the street, middle of the night.
For like 5 minutes. And then
just waking up the neighborhood.
It was just like shooting out like massive amounts of sparks.
Didn't make any noise really. But anyone driving by would have been like, holy
So eventually somebody driving by stopped, got out of their truck, hit it with a fire extinguisher.
What? Really?
And then kept driving.
Wow. It was almost like you from a different reality or something, right? Because that's what you would have done.
If I was
100%.
If I was the opposite of the state I was currently, yes, I would have done
it's
that.
It's like good Ian and evil Ian cross paths that night.
So that was another thing that happened, along with an avocado burger that I don't remember eating. But all of that was the hangover I was dealing with that Sunday.
Oh man.
And that was a rough day. Fortunately, it was a very, very slow day, and I was able to just like through most of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not proud of myself.
Oh man. That's kind of a nice segue into one of the topics I want to talk about today, which was like going over some odd behavior, like witnessing odd behavior in public. Mm-hmm. Like if someone saw you doing that, they'd be like, what is up with this guy? Being drunk has a lot to do with it most of the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's other things, sometimes people are just weird. I was actually, what made me think of this segment was earlier today I was in downtown LA. I was walking around Little Tokyo, and Mel and I were going into the shops and stuff, just a million shops. And there's this one shop we were about to go into, and there's this, she kind of like stops before she goes in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what's going on? And there's like a guy standing right in front of the entrance, and he's just kind of crouched over, and he's just like moving his hands, doing these weird motions.
Tweaking out.
I'm like looking at him like, oh, it's a homeless guy. Clearly homeless and clearly just tweaked out. And it's one of those things where it's like he's directly in front of the entrance. So you have to get right in between him and the entrance to get in. Mm-hmm. So you kind of like make that, as a person, you just kind of make that judgment call. Like, is this safe? You kind of analyze the situation.
Yeah.
And so I take a step back and I'm like, all right, hold on. And we're just watching him. His back's to us. So he doesn't see us or anything. He probably doesn't see anything except rainbows and lasers and shit. And I'm like, all right, is this a passing thing where he's just like, doing a quick thing and moving on? Or is he just here to stay, right? Is he just going to be in front?
Is he posted up?
Is he going to be here for a while?
Yeah.
And he was there for a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's fine. Like, and he was crazy, but he wasn't like, didn't act any aggression. There was no aggression. It was just,
he was just in
weird.
his own world.
In his own world.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm like, it's fine. Just follow, like, whatever. So we get in and, whatever. We're in the store for maybe 10 minutes looking at stuff. And then on our way out, the guy is still there, and there's a Chinese family with their children, and they're looking at each other and they're speaking Chinese, and I have no idea what they're saying, but Mel can understand them. And so after we leave and we get by the guy, Mel's like laughing. I'm like, what? And she's like, that Chinese family that was there with the kids? I'm like, yeah. She's like, they were saying basically like, oh, that guy's still there, so let's do a few more rounds. They were just circling the store. This one right by the entrance, they were circling this little like display area of
They're just
products.
like waiting for that menace to leave.
And a stroller, they're just going around until the guy
Do
left.
a couple more laps.
A couple more victory laps until that guy effed off. It was so funny. So actually, the moral of the story is like that was the funny behavior. It wasn't the guy tweaking. It was the Chinese family walking in circles, just trapped.
They were just like, this is an impassable obstacle.
There's only one way out of here. That there's a boss battle. Just they weren't high enough level to get by, dude.
No.
Oh man, it was so funny,
dude. You see a lot of wild stuff in downtown LA.
For sure. Yeah. The second we parked and got out, we just heard screaming. I just look. I'm like, there's just a guy just screaming to himself. I'm like, well, welcome to downtown.
That's normal.
Super standard.
Normal.
Super standard. It's fun. It's a good time.
I should make a bingo sheet of the things that I've seen there.
That would be really good.
Yeah, because I spend a good amount of time there, and I have seen one of my favorites actually, because it was like kind of wholesome.
Mm.
And I actually have a video. If I can find, I'll send you. Was this guy standing in the middle of an intersection, just having an amazing time. He was just like,
yeah. He's on Rainbow Road, dude.
Yeah, no, he was totally tripping balls, just having
nice
a wonderful time.
Good for him.
But he was in the middle of a busy intersection,
moments away from getting hit.
And I was just like,
was he shirtless? Was he like tattered?
He looked like just a normal dude who lived in the area who just went hard that day.
That's always fun when you see like a dude in just completely normal clothes. It's like, that could be me. Like, it's not even like some crazy disheveled person. It's just some dude on a trip.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
But he looked like he was having a great time. So I was just like, took a quick video and then kept driving. So that was the most positive, weird behavior that I've seen there.
Yeah.
So a lot of negative.
I remember one time, this one's not quite as fun, but I think I might have told you about this. I was in, it was high school, I think. Probably high school days.
Okay.
Senior year, maybe even the summer after we graduated. And I went to Hillcrest Park.
Yes.
And, you can go to walk the stairs to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Nice view or whatever. It's chill up there, some benches. Just chilling there with like a friend or two. And I walked to the edge because you could just kind of overlook stuff. And then you can look down. You're kind of on this cliff almost. And you can look down and see...
It's a nice vista.
Another road. Yeah, over the vista, there's a road down there where cars can pass through like drive kind of around the park. And I see this car just slowly driving. And he's got this huge... It's like an SUV. And it's got a huge moonroof. It's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see the face at all. I just know it's a man. And he's just jerking off. I just see a hand, just J and a D, just doing this as it's driving by.
Was it his hand or was it passenger's hand?
He was alone.
Okay.
Just a lonely dude, J and his D, just driving through a park in the middle of the day.
Huh.
And it happened so fast. It was like it was like a car crash in my mind because it happened so fast and so slow at the same time. Like, because when it happened, I was like trying to process what I was seeing. I don't know. I probably perceived it differently back then, being still like, at a more tender age than I would now.
How would you perceive it now?
Now I'd be like, all right, what kids is he looking at? You're J and your D in a car at a park. Like, you're probably looking at kids.
Yeah.
What? Like that is prime sex offender shit.
Okay, so
prime
that was
sex offender.
So
shit.
that was the road that goes like past the playground in the park.
I don't know. I cannot remember. I have a foggy memory of the exact layout of like when you're looking over that vista. But it's
the road. Was it the road?
It's the road that's right there,
like, right along the park.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I know
not it's an earshot from the playground probably.
Yeah, that's also very close to being. And I think it's like within 500 feet of a school. So
yeah. All kinds of no-nos.
Yeah.
Back then I knew it was like, I'm like, this guy's just horned up. Like, he's bricked up. But he really needs to rub one out. But I didn't make the connection back then. Oh. Being a child myself, that,
so like, innocent, Kyle.
That like
so innocent.
That jerk was for me. Like that.
You got missed just because you're at a high altitude.
Imagine if he just looked straight up at me. We made eye contact. How scarred for life I'd be.
Oh man, dude. So
wild, dude.
Man, I have seen. Do you want to hear the behaviors I've seen in downtown LA?
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
give me the best. Give me the greatest.
The
hits.
Best of the worst.
Give me the hits. Yeah, the best of the worst. The worst of the worst.
Well, I've definitely seen people smoking their meth and crack.
Yeah.
Shooting up.
Yes.
I've seen a dude jerking it at a bus stop.
Okay.
Just
at night.
Or daytime.
Daytime. Nice.
Like he standing at the bus stop,
Yeah.
It's just that's where he figured he'd do his battle with his dingling.
Yeah.
And he was just going to town. I have seen dude just drop trow and sit on the curb to just
defecate.
Yeah, do
his duty.
drop all of his unwanted goods in the gutter.
Nice.
I have seen a lady topless. Just she had. Have you seen Riot Juice from Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
They just take like Kool-Aid and grain alcohol and
Okay.
put it in like a gallon jug.
Okay.
I imagine that's what she was carrying, because she was carrying a gallon jug of something that looked colorful.
Right.
And she looked wasted.
Maybe it was lean.
Could
have been lean.
I don't know, but she had nothing on her upper body, but she was crossing the street like anybody else.
Oh man,
I have seen.
It's got to be lean.
I've seen rats getting it on.
Oh yeah.
Like,
God.
Like not just like, oh, I saw a rat scamper, up a drain pipe. I was like, no, these two rats are just like hanging out near this trash can, like making baby rats.
Yeah, it was some Nat Geo up close and graphic stuff. Yeah, dude. And for the record, for listeners and viewers at home, Ian works in that area.
Yeah.
So it's you've had a lot of exposure.
Yes.
Much more than I have. Much more than I have.
Yeah, which is ironic because I've spent a large portion of my life intentionally staying out of Los Angeles.
Right.
Altogether.
Right.
And
as most people who live in Southern California do.
Many, yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. If you can get out of there.
I never found it to be somewhere that I wanted to spend a lot of time. I didn't find anything super attractive.
Right.
For me personally, that would draw me over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I spend a lot of time there, and it's people yelling, like there's always somebody within a block or two, like, just yelling incoherently.
Yeah.
Not at anybody, they're just
into the void.
Yeah.
To themselves.
And
talking to themselves, people talk to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Every other person's talking to themselves.
The thing that I appreciate more about rain now is that the whole town smells like piss, because people just piss everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Little Tokyo is still okay. The scents there,
I
was smelling mostly like shoyu and rice balls. Pretty nice.
I know I'm stepping, like walking down the sidewalk, I see a puddle going from the side of a building to the street. I'm stepping over that.
Yeah, it is gnarly. I have been in a lot of the piss areas,
and when it rains, the biggest thing that I notice is
rains,
like
pours.
I noticed for a couple days after it rains, it smells clean. Like there's not this ever present urine smell.
Right, it's washed away.
Exactly,
and then comes back the day later.
Yeah,
the next day
takes a couple days and then it's back.
Piss don't wait for no man, dude. The piss comes right back. Downtown is a
wild
fascinating place.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. It's great for people watching and stuff.
It is. Just don't go and expect to, be behind. It's not like a zoo where you're behind glass.
Yeah,
you are in it. You are in it with the
right.
You're in the zoo.
You're one of the animals.
Yeah.
You better hope you don't get eaten or
keep
bit.
your head on a swivel.
Yes, definitely. Actually, that kind of leads us into the next thing, which is public behavior pet peeves. We've talked about pet peeves a lot on the show previously, but what about like things in public that people do? Another thing happened to me. I'll start today in downtown LA. I was having lunch, this nice restaurant there, Little Tokyo, nice restaurant. And then I had to go to the bathroom. So there was a guy ahead of me. I saw him go in. It's a single stall. And he comes out a little bit later and he's like, dressed like kind of nice. He's got like this coat on, but also kind of like just has this like weird sort of like sleazy vibe. Like kind of like businessman at a strip club.
Greasy.
Vibe. Greasy businessman type of guy.
As Trailer Park Boys would say, greasy.
Yeah. I was already kind of like, you're interesting. And so I walked in there, locked the door, and he didn't flush. There was no flush.
And I'm guessing there was a dookie in the
Fortunately, it was just one. It wasn't two. But still, why not? It was just a normal toilet, and it was, one of the buttons that you press.
It's good for the environment.
Really? But it's good for the environment.
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
I don't know, dude. Because but then it's like it almost I feel like it's not super courteous because it's like
in a public restroom, I would say, yeah, it's a good habit to
in
flush.
a public restroom.
Yeah,
where someone's like eating and like about to go back to their meal. It's like
I don't know. I have
putting your piss in their face.
I have a very low
smell and the smell of it as well. Like
I have a very low disgust threshold.
Really?
No, I would say very high threshold. Sorry.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So that wouldn't bother me.
That wouldn't bother you at all. Damn.
The
bothers me.
The notable time
I don't like it
that I've had I was trying to use the bathroom at a CVS and somebody went in there and they were in there for a minute. And I was just like, I'm bursting here. Come on. And they finally come out. I go in there and it's just reeking. And
something died.
And it was like, it wasn't just like normal bathroom smells. It was like really raunchy old man balls. And like
old man balls.
The worst part.
But shit too, right? That
yeah.
was also shit.
Yeah, the worst part was it was such an intense smell that I could taste it.
Ah, no. Stop. Did that gross you out?
It did.
Okay, thank you. Thank God. I'm glad you're human. You're still human.
I went out and
That's disgusting.
I
just retching.
I went out and got some fresh air, and I went back in and I like tried to hold my breath.
Oh my god!
While I peed, and
oh my god!
I just got the hell out of there.
That's the worst.
It was rank.
That's
was like
insane.
There's this stuff called liquid ass.
Oh yeah. It was 10 times worse than that.
It was on par with that.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was
like it was made in a lab, literally. Like they had to synthesize it.
If you could synthesize that, you would probably be a brand leader in the space of
you'd be a superpower.
Stink sprays.
Yeah, you'd be one of the leading countries in the world.
That was it was really bad.
That's crazy.
But very very few things like are physically disgusting to me.
Damn.
That's
pretty cool.
It is helpful because I can encounter really really foul things and be pretty unfazed by it.
Same thing with like graphic stuff like blood, gore and stuff like that.
Yeah, I blame the internet for that.
Yeah,
and video games.
Yeah,
the classic.
Video games doesn't really desensitize me that much though. To like real, like it's a big difference for me.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Just because I've played GTA doesn't mean I can watch a beheading video easily.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that is you have a strong stomach. Mine is average. Mine's very average. If it's gross enough, I'll be grossed out.
Yeah, people who don't flush in a public restroom.
Yeah, no. Come on.
I mean,
it's just like making your piss somebody else's problem or inconvenience.
Yeah.
If it's a shit, it's twice as worse.
I would definitely say I would find piss. I would be like, yeah, whatever.
Do you like not flush at home? Like at home? Like when you're at home?
No, I always flush.
So it's like just treat it like that.
Yeah.
Like why?
If I walk into a stall and somebody left a dump in there, I'm just gonna go and find another stall.
Yeah.
I don't even want to deal with that.
Well,
if I have to, then I'll deal with it, and I'll just be like, kind of grumpy about it.
Yeah.
Like not that I'm disgusted by it, but I'm just like,
oh, this is great.
This person's
nice.
a dick.
Nice, dude. Nice. Mm-hmm. Very, very classy.
Yeah. But ultimately, it's more about the the lack of consideration that it shows than the disgust factor for me.
It just makes me think, are you 7 years old?
Maybe they're really proud of what they made and they want other people to see it.
Most of the time it's nothing. Well, I've seen some that are pretty impressive, but most of the time it's just nasty shit.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'm like, nice.
I've seen some pictures from people working at like truck stops.
Yeah.
Where there's like this weird phenomenon of like truck stops.
Yeah.
And like gas station bathrooms.
They're holding it, dude.
Where people will just somehow just blast the entire back wall of the stall.
Oh man.
Just hose it down basically with feces.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and people are just like, and that's the day I quit.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't getting paid enough to do that.
Yeah, no way. Dude, I remember camping with Mike and like I think Jen was there, maybe Jeff, Udov, some other people. And the last day we were there, we like wake up in the morning or whatever, and I'm like going to the bathrooms. It's like there's like, 6 stalls on one side, 6 stalls on another, and they're individual. It's all brick around it. And there's just a big commotion, loud commotion. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And there's like just maybe like a dozen or so people or more huddled around this, like right in front of one of the stalls. And everyone's just like, oh my God. Apparently like someone had vandalized, some kids had vandalized the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And at least one or more of them just took the gnarliest shit and just put it everywhere.
They smeared it?
They smeared it.
Oh.
Ceiling, walls, floor, just I didn't see it.
This is hyperbole, but poop smearing should be a capital offense.
Yeah, dude. People are like literally like huddled around this like it's like like the monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey. They're just like in awe of it. There's like some people taking photos. Like it's just insane.
Okay.
I'm like, wow.
It's like
a work of art.
The worst thing that I've seen in a like national park bathroom is somebody pissed on all the toilet paper rolls.
Oh, that's a good one though. That's pretty good.
It's smart. It's
terrible. Pretty brilliant.
It's a good one.
Terribly brilliant.
It is. Yeah.
It's like
because I was like I went in and fortunately before I got to business I was looking at the toilet paper roll like
nice.
What's up with this? And it was just like
did you touch
melted.
It? Oh,
it was just soaked in urine, just melted basically.
God.
I was like, okay, well that's no good.
Yeah.
And I checked the next stall over, and the same thing.
Oh man!
I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to postpone this appointment and find some accommodations that.
That's good. That's good that you caught that before you dropped it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because
saved your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So no flushing. That's one. The other one that bothers me a lot is like parents who let their kids run around. And like don't control their kids.
Oh yeah, no, I can speak to that.
Drives me insane. Okay, if they either let their kids go just run around anywhere. So one time, this was way back in the day, I was watching a movie in the theater by myself, and it was a horror movie, and I think it was Identity with John Cusack and
Kirsten Dunst.
No,
I literally was just like. What's the celebrity
that
name?
was a big celeb back then, though.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good guess. But it was like Ray Liotta or something.
Okay.
And I'm watching this movie, and it's like it's a jump scare movie, and it's like the tension's building. There's about to be something
shit's going down,
shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just feel a hand on my shoulder, and I jump and scream. And I turn to look behind me. And it's like this 4-year-old kid. It's like a 3-year-old, like just grabbing things. And I just like look at the family. I'm like, what the dude? Like, I didn't say anything. I'm just like, I think my reaction said enough. I'm just like, and I just like turned back around. I'm like, God, dude, it scared the bejesus out of me.
And then the jump scare hit.
And then the jump scare. I missed the jump scare. That was the jump scare. It was scarier than that whole movie. And I was just like, what kind of parent just lets their kid just be around other people and just and interact with them freely with a toddler's free will and doesn't control it at all.
In a horror movie.
In a horror movie, at a restaurant, at a funeral, anywhere.
I can definitely say I've seen my fair share of kids running amok. Spending time in retail, it was.
Oh yeah, tell us some shitty kid parent stories from retail.
Mainly it was the parents who would just not care about what their kids are doing.
Yeah.
I would say there was like 3 tiers, like going where the worst is the highest. So B tier is just walk in with your kids, don't pay them any attention and let them do, run around, whatever.
Right.
A tier is the same thing, except you constantly threaten them, but then you don't carry, follow through on any of your threats. So like, if you don't stop running around, we're not going to McDonald's after this.
Yeah.
You just keep saying stuff like that.
Exactly. Just empty threats.
Yeah. So that way it looks like you're parenting, but you're not actually parenting.
Exactly.
You're just parroting.
Right.
And then
kids still in control.
S tier was this one time, this kid was getting all worked up and literally, I don't know, like 5-year-old or 6-year-old or something, they hit their parent. They
punch.
Anger punched them.
5 or 6, you said?
I think so. Maybe a little bit older.
Sure.
And the parent responded by giving them a tablet to play with.
No. Oh no, that's bad.
That's
I was really just like, bad.
You care so little about your child's development that it's like them getting so worked up that they hit you it's just like, oh, okay, give them the distraction device. I don't care.
Just teaching them like, no, this like hitting people, violence is the answer.
Yeah, literally reinforcing.
If you want something, just beat the shit out of someone.
Yeah. And
it's always worked when I've raised you.
That was that definitely raised my eyebrows. That
Jeez,
definitely
dude.
is the S tier bad parenting I've seen.
Damn. And then there's the opposite where like I've just seen parents like just smack their kids in public.
The opposite,
wham, I'm just like, damn, dude.
The opposite I would say would be
damn. It's rough.
There was a parent who spoke to their kid like they were an adult, like they didn't use baby talk with them, and it was like not an old kid.
Or like parents who swear at their kids.
No, this parent was just like constantly communicating with their kid, like, are you gonna go over there? Or are you gonna come over here? Like, are you gonna stay with me like you said you would? Okay.
Right.
Well, if you don't, then we're gonna leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sure.
Okay, so you can. Oh, you want to sit in the cart? You can sit in the cart. Okay. Well, you can't touch that. Like, just staying engaged with their kid, constantly giving them feedback, and not letting them do whatever they want whenever they want, and just saying, look, if you do that, there's going to be consequences, and then actually following through and going, okay, well, these consequences have happened to you. Now we're leaving because you can't do what you need to do.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, hey, I just want to say, like, I'm really impressed with the parenting you're doing. I'm not a parent. I'm not an expert, but like what you're doing is a lot of work, and it seems like you put a lot of, thought into it, and I appreciate it.
Right. Yeah. And then they just immediately beat the shit out of you.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Just clock.
That would have been definitely the hot fudge on that Sunday. But no, I actually
it is very hard to do.
Respected their parenting quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's interesting to see like how, we all have like friends now that are having kids, and it's cool that they're having them first.
Yes.
Guinea pigs.
Yes.
Like, all right, let's see which parenting style reigns supreme, and that's the one I will adopt for my own.
Yes, with of course your own spin on it, but
your own spin.
You gotta take what you see and then take components of that and build your own thing out of it.
Yeah, right. Because like I like watch like Paul, like parent Hannah and stuff. I'm like, I want to do it that way, but in order to do it that way, I have to be Paul.
Yes, and you are very much not Paul.
I'm so not Paul. And I'm like, my kid's going to be so up.
Yeah, you and Paul are like yin and yang. So
yeah, dude. Yeah. Like I can learn some things, but at my core, I will be way off. There's no way I'm touching that.
I've had my parents tell me in a semi-serious semi-joking way, like, one day you're going to grow up and you're going to have kids and you're going to learn a lot about what you put us through.
Ooh, damn, they said that?
Yeah.
That's so real of them. That's so real for them. But that is so true. It's like
it's fact.
Whatever hell I put my parents through, I will experience it tenfold through my own kids.
Yeah.
And I know that. Like, and I learned at a very, young age, I would say very shortly after I did put them through absolute hell, that I really realized the absolute hell that I put them through.
Yeah.
And I really was like, wow, I was just a complete shithead for the longest time. And they put up with me so much. And like back then it was just like, oh, they're against me, and like, they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm making all the right moves here.
I'm so smart. They're dumb and old and out of touch.
Yeah, they're so okay, boomer. And then very quickly realized, God, I put those poor people through hell.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's just an endless cycle. I think that's just human nature. It's like,
of course. And that will definitely happen to us. We will have some shithead kids.
Yeah.
But that's kind of nice. You don't want your kid to be perfect.
Don't you?
Perfect kids are up too in their own way.
Stepford child.
Wait, what's Stepford child?
It's like Stepford wives.
Oh, the Stepford wives. Yeah. No, I don't want a Stepford child.
A child should have some natural chaos to them.
I need to be able to relate to them somewhat.
Yeah.
If they're just super wholesome,
if they're completely zen,
I don't know what to do with you.
Logical.
We can't be friends.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. That's a deal breaker right there.
Oh, so next one, littering. What's okay to litter and what's not? Is there anything okay? Like, biodegradable stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, like banana peel,
orange peel.
Don't put it somewhere where someone will slip on it.
But yeah, throw it in a planter or like
Yeah, exactly.
It's earth on earth action, dude.
Yes,
that's earth on earth action. Sunflower seeds, totally fine. The shells, spit them out, whatever. It's biodegradable. Birds will eat that up.
They don't eat the shells.
Oh, probably not the shells. Worms will eat them.
Eventually, I mean,
something will eat them.
They'll break down over time.
Something will break. Yeah. Not cigarette butts. I don't like seeing cigarette butts everywhere.
No.
It's like, I think people's mentality is like, it's so small that whatever, but it's like, dude,
it's interesting though.
It's still paper. It's still littering.
And
it's ugly.
It's actually interesting though, because cigarette butts can serve a purpose, which is because they're full of nicotine from like filtering smoke. A lot of nicotine gets deposited in the cotton.
Yeah.
I think some birds have learned to take the cotton out of cigarette butts and put it, like, line their nests with it. Because not only is it like cotton, so it's, kind of warm and fluffy, but because it has a lot of nicotine in it, it kills parasites and like mites and stuff.
Interesting.
Because nicotine is a very potent insecticide.
Yeah.
So basically, they're like, when birds use cigarette butts in their nests, It's like Terminex for the bird nest.
It's like a super defense for their nest. That's cool.
against insects.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, obviously, it's not perfect because there's plenty of carcinogens and nastiness there too.
Right.
But I agree. Cigarette butts are gross. I've never seen more cigarette butts laying around than in Paris.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
the Europa.
I remember thinking if I could make a special magnet that just attracted cigarette butts,
right,
and I put it at the top of the Eiffel Tower,
yeah,
and switched it on, it would how big would that ball of cigarette butts get? It just gets sucked up to the vacuum,
right?
The magnet.
It would just turn into a French person.
It would just
one Frenchman would just be like, "Oh, we are Betty."
No, it would be like the size of a building where the cigarettes butts.
Second Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, man. I don't like cigarette butts. I don't approve of them being thrown on the ground.
I don't know.
We have at least in LA, a lot of places in the US. There's trash cans everywhere.
There are some places
trash cans everywhere.
In downtown. There's trash cans everywhere, but I have been in some urban areas where it's really hard to find a trash can sometimes.
Really? I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm in my little bubble, but at least in LA, I'm like, there shouldn't be a cigarette butt on the ground in LA. You go to Taiwan, people carry trash in their hoodies and in their pockets because there's no public trash cans anywhere.
I heard that about Japan too.
Yeah, a lot of Asian countries, there's no trash cans. People they're very good about keeping their own trash, and it's impossible. But it's like not a single trash can. You won't see one for miles. You'd be walking around the city. You can't find them.
Littering, the only thing that's okay is things like biodegradable food scraps that aren't going to make anybody sick and you're throwing them out in the dirt somewhere.
Yeah.
And money.
Money's cool.
Because somebody's going to pick it up. You're not going to leave some trash out in the world. Somebody's put that up.
Yeah, you're paying it forward at that point.
Yeah.
That's a nice service. Yeah, it's never going to be litter.
Exactly.
It will always be picked up.
Exactly.
That is true.
I don't love litter.
Nah, litter sucks, dude. Litter sucks. I can't remember if this is accurate or not, but I think one time when I was young, kid, I was with my mom. I think we were in our car parked. There was another guy who just was chucking stuff out of he was in his car parked. He was chucking stuff out his window, like straw wrappers or something.
Yeah.
I want to say my mom got out and put the straw wrapper back in. It was you shouldn't litter.
I've seen
Which if that's true, mom will confirm it with me later. But if that's true, that's a boss move on my mom's part.
It is a boss move.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of videos of people do that where they see somebody throw a bag of fast food trash out of their car.
Yeah.
And they're on a motorcycle, so they grab it.
Yeah.
And they pull up next to the car and they tap on the window.
Yeah.
And when they roll the window down, they just chuck
it back. That's sick. That's sick. And then just speed off at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Instantly. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
a little lesson in not being a douchebag.
That's the only reason I'd get a bike, just to do that. Be so fun.
The litter Batman. I've got to clean these streets up.
The hero we deserve.
One Popeye's bag at a time.
It's just the recycle logo in the sky.
Yeah, I don't think you should get a motorcycle. I like you being alive.
Yeah, me too. I like all my limbs. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice life. Yeah.
Sometimes I just like to remember how lucky I am to have all my fingers and toes and arms and legs and eyeballs and
and 2 dicks. It's very nice. I feel
Dude,
very privileged.
Do you remember that guy he posted on Reddit that he had 2 dicks and had some very real looking photos, and actually I believe if I'm not mistaken, actually that got put into a textbook of like a medical textbook.
Nice.
And then eventually it came out
credible source.
Yeah, it came out
so credible.
That was a fabrication, but
so it wasn't. He didn't have 2 dicks.
I wanted to believe that it was possible for humans to have that, but We're not there yet.
You would think that like there's been so many just medical phenomenons and anomalies that you'd think one.
Well,
there'd be
there
one
are
reported
there are
case.
medically documented cases of
The multi-dick.
yeah, but it's not great. Let's just put it like that.
Right, it's not ideal.
It's
not
yeah.
like you can totally get laid
You ever
twice as
seen
much.
a turtle with two heads?
No. I would imagine just what's different about it
Well,
apart from the second head.
it's just like kind of a turtle that forks and it has two heads.
Okay, like a serpent type, like a two-headed serpent type thing.
Yeah,
Two-headed dragon.
I think that's in medical cases. That's kind of typically what you get. Versus
I see.
this guy who's just being like, I got double stacked.
Oh, they were vertically stacked.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of tight.
Right? I was like,
That seems way more practical.
yeah, no, exactly.
That seems way more practical.
Which
Damn.
was completely anomalous and unprecedented.
That'll be the first cyberpunk mod in our lifetime.
Oh, definitely.
The double vert the double vert, dude. The double vert stacked.
Mr. Stud Duo.
Oh man, the Stud 5000. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. We didn't even get around to the awesome videos that I pulled from online, but we're at our time, so we'll save those for next week.
Wow.
Along with other things.
We got some goodies in the pipeline.
Yes, we do, dude. Yes, we do. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Join the Discord. We'll see you guys there, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Later.